So, good afternoon. Thank you both for agreeing to come and participate in the mediation. We really appreciate this opportunity to get a chance to talk with you and work with you and try to resolve some issues that may have come up. I want you guys to understand that this is strictly a voluntary situation. At any point in time you have an uneasiness, please let us know. My name is Jay. This is my co-mediator, Leah. And once again, thank you for joining us.
What would you guys like us to call you? You have name tags. Are those the names that you would like us to use?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes. Great. Good.
So I want to make sure that you guys understand that the importance and significance about what you're doing here today and how much we appreciate the fact that you've come here and voluntarily to work with us. We want you to understand what our roles and responsibilities are going to be here. The biggest thing is that we are both neutral. We are not going to take sides in any of this. This is an opportunity for us to listen to what you have to say and to share with us what's going on.
We don't take sides. We're not a judge or a jury. We're not going to suggest solutions, although if you want to look for solutions at some point, we can help facilitate that. So that's our role. So let me explain what the process is so you both know what to expect. And usually that helps people kind of be calm because it's a very kind of solid process. So first, we ask you to talk only to us so that we can understand what your concerns are and what brought you here today, and not even talk to each other, just address Jay and myself. And then if you get to a point where you both feel like that has served its purpose, and if you're both ready, you can talk to each other with our help to make sure that the discussion is safe and respectful. So we will facilitate that if it's appropriate. And then if it looks like you're starting to come up with some ideas that might be solutions, we can also help you formulate an agreement and kind of reality check it and make sure that it would work for both of you. So that's what we do. We've talked about what we don't do, but that's what we do. We have some ground rules that would make the mediation go better and would facilitate, having it come to some kind of an agreement if that's appropriate. And I'm going to go through them. There are 4, and I'm going to ask you for agreement on each one. So the first one is that in the beginning, until everybody agrees otherwise, that you talk only to us and not to each other. Can you agree to that, Pat?
Yeah.
Okay, can you agree to that, Morgan?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. The second one is that nobody interrupt, that everybody have a chance to talk. There'll be plenty of time to talk. We'll stay as long as we need to, and we can come back in another session if we need to. Does that sound like something you can agree to, Morgan?
Yes.
Okay, good. Pat, can you agree to that?
Yeah, I think I can.
Great. Okay. The third ground rule is that people behave respectfully and speak respectfully. That's just really important that we keep a civil tone. Pat, is that something that you can agree to?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, good. Morgan, is that something that you can agree to?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. And then the last ground rule is, as mediators, really all that we can offer is kind of safety and neutrality. If at any point you feel that either of us is not being neutral, that is, if you feel that we're favoring one of the parties or that we're starting to suggest things that do or don't work for you, it's very important that you tell us. So I'm wondering, is that something that you think that you could do? Can you agree to try to tell us, Morgan?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, good. Pat, can you agree to try to tell us?
Of course.
Excellent. Okay, good.
Final thing is absolute confidentiality. Anything that you say here, that you share with us, and anything that's said between the two of you stays in this room. And that's really one of the cornerstones is this is a safe environment. You can speak freely. Everything said here will stay here.
One little codicil to that, I am a mandated reporter, which means that if any unreported domestic violence or abuse of any kind with a minor, involving a minor, comes to light, I don't think it will in this mediation because I have some sense of what it's about. But if it does come to light, I need to report it. So I just want to make sure that you understand that. And here are the confidentiality statements that you were sent, and I assume that you've already signed them, so we'll collect them and then we'll be able to go on. So. Just want to know if you have any questions. Is there anything we need to explore before we start?
Did he really sign the confidentiality agreement? Because I can't trust him.
Why don't you both give me your signed confidentiality agreements and then we can move forward. Yes, it looks like it's signed.
Yes.
And that's, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, sure. Anything else? Any
No,
other
I'm good.
questions or comments? Okay. So it looks like we're committed to give this a try. It can be a challenging process, but it can also be really rewarding. Usually the person who initially contacted our office to ask for a mediation is the person who goes first. And as I understand it, according to the paperwork, that was Morgan. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And is that okay with everybody if Morgan begins? We'll make sure that Pat gets equal time and we'll go back and forth. But can we go ahead with, okay.
Yeah.
So Morgan, let's take a couple of minutes. You won't be able to tell us everything, but what brings you here today? Tell us about your concerns.
I'm just really upset. We work together, and long story short, I found out that Pat posted pictures of me on Facebook with some really horrible captions. And I mean, I'm a parent. I have 3 children, and if my children were to see those comments, they would just be heartbroken. I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. I feel harassed and discriminated against. He uses words like homo and wetback, and we work at a college, for God's sakes. I mean, what more diverse environment can you be in? And I don't want to work with, I feel sick when I go to work. I mean, I can't sleep at night, and the conflict and the hatred that just spews from everything. I don't know if he thinks it's funny or if it's a pastime, but it's destroying my life.
Very big upset, it sounds like. Really, really painful. And when did this happen?
It just happened a couple weeks ago. Well, I just found out about it a couple weeks ago. Who knows how long it's been going on?
Okay, so what did you find out a couple weeks ago?
That he was putting pictures of me on Facebook and
Okay.
saying these horrible things.
Okay.
And making fun of people who can't speak English that come into the academic office.
So very upsetting.
Well, yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, let's come back to you. Thank you,
Okay,
that was
thank
helpful
you.
to start understanding what's going on. Pat, what are your concerns?
I didn't think there was any concerns, to be honest. I just, do my thing, post on my, social media website, and I come to work one day and I find out that there's some notions about me. I mean, that picture, not pictures, that picture that I posted, it was just a joke. It was a comment that I posted, late one night. I was just having some fun. I mean, that's my website, basically. She's not even my friend on there, so I have no clue how she even visited the website and viewed its comments, but I didn't even know there was a problem. I just come into work one day, and then I just get this all in my face, and it's blown up. It was a small comment that I may have done once, and it's just not that big a deal. I mean, I honestly don't have any issues, but at this point, I just don't want to be harassed anymore. I just want her to leave me alone, honestly, and just not have her talk to me again.
So it sounds like this has been painful for you.
To say the least, yeah.
So Pat, how did it come to pass that the picture got posted?
I'd snap pictures, here and there at work. I'm a social mediator. I just found a funny one. It wasn't like she always looks like this or anything like that, but I just found a funny picture that I thought was funny. Some of the coworkers, I have as friends on there, so I posted it as a joke. I joke about everything, guys. I joke about everything. There's jokes on there about me, about my best friends, I don't mean anything by it. And she's just blowing it up. It's just a joke, that's it. I didn't even mean for her to see it. I didn't even want her to see it, so.
You see this very differently, it sounds like.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. I'd like to ask you both, maybe starting with Morgan, can you tell us a little bit about your work relationship? You work together, are you constantly working together, are you just in the same office? What's that situation?
We have the same boss, and I've been there for years. Pat is newer. Sometimes we have to work together, but sometimes we work independent of each other. And it was actually a coworker of ours that said maybe I should see what was going on Facebook.
And what exactly do you do? What is your job?
I work in the admissions office. I process paperwork and applications. I conduct screenings. I work a lot with people who don't speak English because I am bilingual. And I also make referrals to the counseling department for people struggling with mental health issues or gender identity issues.
So you do quite a lot.
Yes.
And what part of that does Pat overlap with?
Pat files paperwork from time to time, takes pictures for the school newspaper. He can be of assistance to me when I'm overwhelmed. I'm able to delegate to him. I'm not ever his boss, but we're supposed to complement each other in our employment roles so that we can each be more efficient.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Pat, can you answer the same question?
Yeah, I was just hired recently. She's been working there for a while. While my position may be somewhat under hers, I would say do more work than she does. I don't just take pictures and file paper. I do everything she almost does for the most part. I get it done faster. I have a better satisfactory rating. I do her job, I get paid less, and I do more work than she does. So that's where I'm at right now. That's why I'm a little ticked off, that someone's coming to me talking bad about me, and I do all this work, and she doesn't do nearly as much work as I do. I sometimes have to pick up her slack, and she never asks me for help. I just do it because that's my job.
So you have strong feelings about how the workplace relationship has developed, it sounds like.
I would say so. I just feel like I end up doing a lot more work. That's just how it goes, it seems.
Mm-hmm. And can you talk a little bit, I think we need to hear a little bit about, from each of you, what has this relationship been like in the past? It sounds like there's been a big change because of the Facebook situation, but before that, what was it?
I thought, other than the work, I thought everything was okay. You know, I'd say hi, you know, if I need help, I ask it, very rarely, but I thought everything was fine. You know, I didn't have a notion of anything going on behind the scenes, and that's why when I posted it, I didn't think anything would happen of it. I didn't think anyone would become of it.
Okay. So is it accurate to say you had a friendly, cordial work relationship before this?
Yeah, I like to be friendly with everyone I work with. There's not usually a reason to get into conflict with someone. It only makes things worse. But I thought we had a fairly good work relationship, yeah.
Okay, good.
And how about you, Morgan?
Well, yes, we did have a good work relationship. I trusted him. I mean, of course, I always saw him walking around snapping pictures of everyone and everything, but I mean, that's just Pat. And I just trusted that he would use good judgment and proper etiquette. I mean, yes, he does do a lot of work and he's very fast, but sometimes when you're that fast, you just forget that some things are just politically incorrect. And I guess I assumed that I could trust him, and I mean, posting a picture of me and 3 male coworkers, calling one a Jew boy and one a nigger, I just feel like, my God, can I trust anyone I work with? I mean, of all people, Pat, I just thought he had a good heart, and we did work all right together. I mean, of course, he was always resentful because I outranked him, but I felt like, you know, I had the seniority and he had that breath of fresh air, and we just offset each other until this. I'm always looking over my shoulder. When people have their cell phones out, I'm afraid. I'm afraid they're going to take a picture of me in a compromising position. I'm always checking to make sure there's not toilet paper sticking out of my pants or on my shoe, or that there's not food on my teeth. And I just don't know. I guess maybe he never was who I thought he was.
Well, Morgan, one of the things I think I heard you say is that trust is extremely important to you. And how has that trust been impacted by what's going on?
Well, I trusted his judgment, and now I feel like I can't trust anybody because I just didn't expect that from him. I mean, those comments, they were so derogatory and hateful. He says that he's just joking, but I don't find any humor in calling people homos or fag boy or a nigger. I mean, for crying out loud, it's 2013. That is just, so do I really know anybody? Can I trust any of my coworkers? Can I trust my friends?
So the trust issue has had a major impact on your personal life, hasn't it?
Oh yes, yes, I can't eat, I can't sleep. I'm constantly vigilant that people aren't photographing my children. I just, if I could, I would just not leave my house. To be honest, I'm seeing a psychiatrist now.
So this has had a huge impact.
Yes.
And I guess a question that I would have for both of you, let's maybe start with you, Pat. We're here to help you talk about it and see if you can work through or want to work through to resolution. Is this a job that you intend to stay with? Is this a job that you want to keep?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm reliant on this job. I need this job, and my work shows for it. It has showed for it. I've got bills. I've got payments, school payments, loans. I'm completely reliant on this job, and that's why I put my all into it, and I don't let things get in the way. And that's why I have such a good work ethic, and why I'm doing so well in the company, which is proven.
Okay, so it sounds like it's important for you to get some resolutions so that you can continue to work at this job.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so let's check with Morgan. Morgan, how important to you is the job?
Well, I'm a single parent of 3 children, and this is the only way for me financially to support those children. And that great work ethic and hard work that he talks about, those are processes that I implemented. I'm invested. I designed these policies to work for our students. And I mean, I really wanted to stay here forever, but I just can't fathom working with him. If I have to work with him, I don't know. Welfare looks better at this point. Something has to change.
So you'd like to keep the job, and you'd also like to see some changes.
Yeah, I want to
Okay.
keep the job, but I don't want to be sick with him.
Okay, well, that's maybe what we can try to help you with. So Pat, what would be a good outcome here today for you? What would be a good, given that you want the job, that you need the job, and then we'll hear from Morgan on the same question.
No, I just don't know at this point. The job's number one. Whether she's working there with me or whether she goes, I could care less. But something needs to happen where the job is not affected.
So what would be a good outcome for you?
I honestly would like to see her fired. Yeah.
Okay.
I think with how she says she feels, she's taking it way too hard. But with the way she says she feels, if she can't get over with what I said, it's not intentional. I don't know if it's because we were in different generations here. Nancy and John in that picture are my friend. I call them that all the time. Ask them. No issues. I'll bring them in if you want. But if she can't deal with me, then I can't deal with her. So she'll need to go then if that's really her feelings on it.
Okay. So Morgan, what's your sense of a good outcome from your point of view?
Well, I absolutely think that he should be fired. I mean, the things that he said are violations of our employee code of conduct. If I spoke to a student like that, that would be immediate grounds for dismissal with no whatever that parting severance package is. I mean, why should he be allowed to talk to me that way, to anybody that way? And our students hear this. They hear him say wetback. They don't speak English. Obviously, it's directed at them. Isn't that like discrimination and hate? He's a liability for crying out loud.
So Pat,
Okay.
under a worst case scenario, if it was you that they asked to leave, how would that make you feel?
I would fight it to the death of me. I do not believe that's a private site. No one was meant to see that. No one should have seen that. Like I said, don't know how she saw it. Those words weren't said to anyone at the workplace or during work. I don't know when she hears me use these words around the students, but I don't. This is all at home with friends. My actions at home aren't who I am as a person joking around, so that can't be held at work on a social media website, especially when you look at how hard I work in my job.
So let's ask you the same question, Morgan. What if all of this led to your being fired? What would the impact be?
Well, I would absolutely sue, because you can't fire me for feeling that I was harassed. I mean, it's my employer's job to offer protections from such harassment. And in fact, terms like homo are considered sexual harassment. So if I was fired, not only would I be suing Pat, which I may do anyways in addition to Facebook, but I would definitely be suing the school.
Well, I think what we've heard is that both of you are very invested in your job, and these jobs are very important to you, and that you seem to share the opinion that the other person should go. Well, I think it's our position that nobody is going to go. If we,
I thought you weren't
Hold on
supposed to
a
take
second.
positions.
and I apologize
Neutral.
for that, probably a poor choice of words, and thank you for calling me on it. But we don't want anybody to go, because the jobs are important to both of you. It's important to you, Morgan. You wouldn't want to be the one left out, correct? Pat, the same with you. You want this job. This job is meaningful and it's important to you. Is that correct, Morgan?
Morgan, let me put it another way. We're mediators. We're not your boss. So we can't decide whether one of you gets fired and one of you stays, or you both stay, or whatever. But from what we've heard, your boss asked you to come to mediation so that you could work this out. Is that right?
Yes, when you say it like that, I didn't like the way he said it. He sounds like my father.
Well, different mediators have different styles. So
True.
I think what we're really trying to get to is, if one of you is going to be fired, then we have no control over that. But what we can try to do is, if you are going to continue to work together, and that seems to be what your boss is suggesting by sending you here, that your boss is, suggesting that neither of you will be fired over this, then we can try to help you make sure that it's a safe place for both of you. That's what we can do. So I think we need to hear a little bit about what you need in the workplace. And then we want to ask Pat, what do you need in the workplace, given this situation? If Pat is going to continue to be in your workplace, what else do you need? What kind of behavior or what kind of environment do you need, assuming that he'll still be there? Because we can't control any other outcome here.
Well, I think that Pat should have to take a class or something. Like, human resources should send him to a place where he can learn what is politically correct and socially acceptable. I need to feel like I'm safe, and I just don't feel safe with those kinds of comments. I mean...
Okay, so safety, that sounds really
Yes.
important to you. Tell us a little bit more about what would make it safer. Specifically, whatever we have to do, or he has to do, or you have to do to get there, what would it look like in the workplace?
No pictures posted anywhere.
I'm going to take some notes. Okay, so no photos. Okay.
No.
Uh-huh.
It's already proven he can't be responsible and lacks judgment.
Okay, let's
That's
try to
questionable.
let's try to remain respectful, Morgan, because what we're really trying to think about is, well, so what would feel respectful and safe for you? So let's make sure that in talking about that, you're respectful towards Pat.
So yeah, a class definitely on proper etiquette and socially acceptable behaviors, and
And how would that change your actual workplace? What would be different in the workplace?
well, I wouldn't have to hear nigger, wetback, homo.
Okay, so there are words that are
Yes.
derogatory that you would like to not hear, and you would
Yes.
like to not see photos. What
Definitely.
else? What else?
A willingness to like work together and understand that maybe what works best for him doesn't work best for me, and vice versa. It just feels so hostile.
So a mood that is more cordial.
Yes.
Okay.
Or s-
Anything else? We'll have more time. You don't have to think of
I
everything.
think he
at
should
once.
have to take like a class on how to be sensitive towards people that aren't the same as him. He has some behavioral issues.
So work on dealing with differences.
Yes.
Okay.
There, yes.
Okay, so you'd like to see that.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
That's
So that's a good start. So Pat, what would make it safe, respected workplace for you?
All I really care about is my job. That's number one. I mean, that job security is huge with me.
Well, you have to treat
Okay, so-
people.
Morgan, hold. Talk to us, okay, if you could please?
And also, we have to
All right,
remind you
yeah.
not to interrupt, because
Yeah.
that was one of the ground rules. Can you hold yourself to that ground rule? Because it's essential for the mediation to continue.
I suppose, yes.
Okay, thanks. I know it's hard sometimes, but do your best.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, besides that, let's see. I mean,
So what about being at work? What would make it better for you to be at work, assuming that you are going to continue to work in the same place?
if we're gonna go back to work, I mean, she probably has to pick up her slack on her end of her end of everything. I mean, I've just been doing this for so long that I just feel like she might need to pick it up a little bit. You know, seniority only gets you so far.
So it sounds like you would like to have a workplace discussion regarding workload.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
right?
I mean,
that
I
would
haven't-
involve Morgan and maybe someone else?
Yeah, like maybe I haven't talked to my boss because, you know, I didn't want to put her in that position because she has been here for so long. But if she's got issues with me, there's other issues that also need to be addressed if we're going to work this out.
Okay, so it sounds like that's a discussion that you would like to see happen.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Anything else that you would need in the workplace to feel
No,
safe and
I'm good.
respected?
I'm good. Just that, really.
Okay. Okay. Morgan, you're having real strong reaction. Tell us what's going on.
Well, I just think that it's just par for the course that Pat cannot accept any responsibility. Like,
So you're having trouble with what Pat just said?
Yes.
Okay, tell us
What
what
responsibility?
you didn't like. So
Pat?
let's
We
keep talking
remember
to
we
the
don't want
mediator.
I'm sorry,
to
I'm sorry.
interrupt.
I'm sorry.
Thank
Go
you.
on.
I mean,
So-
instead of just saying I did it and it was wrong, he has to go on and on about what I don't do. And
Okay,
how,
so Morgan, it sounds like one thing you would really like is for Pat to say something about the photos. Is that right?
yes, I would like it if he would own the fact that it hurt me.
Okay, can we ask him to do that? Is this a good time?
Well, it's as good a time as any.
Okay, so Pat, it sounds like Morgan has really strong feelings about those photos. Are they still up, by the way? Are they still on the Facebook
Yes.
page?
Oh, yes, with 57 comments.
How would
Okay.
how would you know that? How would she know that?
Okay, well, apparently somehow she knows.
I brought a
So-
printout for your
okay.
review.
Okay,
There you go.
we believe you. Okay, so Pat, maybe it would be good if Morgan could tell us, and you could listen, what impact that had, and then maybe we can ask you what you heard. Okay?
Okay.
So, what does Pat need to know about the impact those photos had on you?
Well, it hurt me to my very core. He used the term Jew boy, and my grandparents were Jewish and died in the Holocaust. And to think that someone that I trained, that I work with on a daily basis, feels that way, and that just hurts me. And the term homo, he has no idea the struggles that homosexual people go through. And I actually respected Pat because he was a hard worker. And it just really made me question whether he ever accepted me for who I was, if he feels that way. And my children are Mexican. And Wetback, I mean, he's come to Christmas parties at my house with those children. And to think that he's calling them Wetback, does he feel that way about me and my children? That's how those photos make me feel.
So this goes way beyond work, and it's really
Yes.
issues, questions of identity, and okay. Pat, tell us what you're thinking in terms of having those pictures up and the effect that they're having.
It was just a joke. How was I supposed to know she had family members in the Holocaust, or, you know, she might have homosexual friends or something like that? We're a different generation, you know? The word fag means stupid now to people. When I say it, it doesn't mean I'm calling someone gay or anything like that. This is all just a joke. I mean,
So you had a very different view in putting those up.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
still have that same view now that you've heard
I mean-
a little bit from Morgan about how it's affecting her?
I mean, I feel bad, you know. I mean, I didn't mean for her to take it that way. They're just jokes, you know? They're just jokes. No one else has said anything to me about these photos except for her.
Okay.
I mean, I guess, you know, like hearing what she has to say about it, you know, changes it a little bit, but I mean, it was just a joke. Like, that's it.
Okay.
So I heard you make the comment, hearing what she's heard to say about it has changed things for you. How has it changed things?
I mean, I never really thought of the impact of saying that, you know. Maybe because I just said it about friends, or I just do it around friends jokingly. I guess maybe that having someone that it actually affects can, you know, make it seem kind of worse than the joke really is originally.
I'm wondering if it would feel safe for you, with our help, to talk to each other, because it sounds like there's some things that Morgan needs to say and maybe Pat needs to respond to, or vice versa, that might be valuable. Morgan, do you feel able, with our help, to talk to Pat more directly?
Yes.
Okay. Pat, is this an appropriate time, do you think, to actually talk to each other?
Yeah, with your guys' help, yeah.
Okay. So why don't you guys turn your tables so that you're facing each other?
Yes, sir.
So, Morgan, what's the single most important thing that you need Pat to hear today? It can be something, you know, fairly short, and then we'll check with him about what he heard.
I need Pat to understand that.
Tell him directly.
Pat, I need you to understand that what may be funny to you can be life-shattering to me. And the words that you said really hurt. And they didn't just hurt me, they hurt my children. And you play with Javier baseball every Friday. And him hearing that you use the term wetback and homo when you know, well, maybe you don't know, he's gay. And I just need you to know that you don't always know what people are struggling with, and it's not funny.
Thanks, Morgan. That's hard stuff. So, Pat, can you tell Morgan what you heard her say?
I just till now, I understand.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you. I feel so much better just hearing you say that.
Well, good. But before you respond too much, let's make sure that what he heard is what you said. So let's see what you heard, Pat.
I know that what I may think is a joke, it should not be taken that way for everyone's views. I do understand that it should be taken generally. It shouldn't just be my friends and my views on the words. It should be taken what the words actually mean. I can't even fathom thinking about your kids and how they think of me now. I'm really sorry for that. I can't even imagine how, you know, what your family thinks of me or what everyone else thinks of me now. It was just a joke, Morgan. It was just a joke. I really didn't mean it.
So Morgan, did Pat accurately kind of summarize back to you what you had told him just now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Pat, is there anything else that you need Morgan to know?
I work so hard, Morgan. I have bills, I have loans, car payments. I just got so much going on with me right now. And the only enjoyment I get is the jokes and, you know, my photos and stuff like that. And it's just never been a problem. I've never had someone be offended by it. And, you know, it really took something like this to make me see that. You know, it was just a joke. I promise you, it was just a joke. I don't feel that way about anyone. I love all my friends. I love all walks of life and all people. But maybe I need to rethink my sense of humor.
Pat, what do you think would be the appropriate thing for you, or the next thing for you to do, having heard what she had to say?
I mean, all I can really do is apologize. I mean, it was really just a joke. I mean, it really was just a joke. But if she wants to hear me formally apologize, I mean, I could do that, but I don't know what else to offer.
Well, if I could she was talking about some of the pictures and some of the comments she had mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I
And
guess I could probably take those down too. I mean,
So let's ask Morgan. Let's ask her. Why don't you ask her what she would like in terms of apology, photos, etc.
Morgan, what do you want me to do?
I just, I think you've already done the biggest, most important thing by acknowledging that it hurt me. If you could just remove the pictures and not use me in your jokes, that would be a huge help.
Pat, do you think that's possible?
I think I could manage.
Okay. Pat mentioned an apology, Morgan. Do you feel that you need something in that order?
No, I feel like the personal apology that he's given me is enough. And I think maybe just, he should come to dinner so he can talk to the children.
Tell him.
I think you should come for a barbecue or dinner so that we can sit down with the kids, and no one hates you. We're very tolerant, and really it made us sad. It really made us sad because we know you're a bigger, better person than that. So if you could just come for dinner and we could just talk, I think that's all that needs to be done. I don't need a formal apology.
I don't know if I could see your kids again, but maybe we could work it out.
Talk about that, Pat. Tell us how you're feeling.
I feel bad. I feel bad, guys.
Like, how and why?
I mean, it was just a joke, and I'm coming to realization that jokes hurt sometimes. Yeah, I mean,
It sounds like you didn't intend this to hurt. Is
not
that right?
not at all, not at all. That's why I was kind of blindsided by it when you came at me at work. It's not something that even crosses my mind. I mean, I'm 19 years old. I'm much younger. I think it's just a different kind of view, and I apologize for that. But my generation is wildly different. I mean, it's majorly different. That's just something I want you to keep in mind when I said this stuff. It was never directed at you or anyone or any race or religion or sexual gender orientation, anything like that. Just a joke.
That kind of sounds like you're making an excuse all of a sudden. I mean, there's lots of people my age and my generation that would be offended by it, and I think it's important to keep in mind that there's a generation younger than you watching you, learning from you, and someone who was gay in 19 would be offended by the comments you made. It's not just, I can accept that you didn't intend it to hurt. I can't accept a justification that because you're younger, that shouldn't make it acceptable, even in your social circle. People have killed themselves over comments like that in your age group.
I understand. I really do understand. I'm not trying to make excuses. When I came in here, I was saying it was a joke, and I haven't changed at all through this. That's one thing that I have not changed. I hope that helps you realize how serious I am, because I haven't changed at that was just a joke, and it always has been. That's a huge subject, how words affect people and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I'm not the only person in my age group to do that and such like that. I can't promise that I can't promise that I'll never say anything bad about anyone again. But what I can promise is that I will think before I say anything, especially around the workplace, around you, around your family. That I can promise.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't want you to think that I'm changing all of a sudden,
No.
but that's just my thoughts on it.
So there's the question, I think, still on the table about what happens with the photos and the comments. If you want me to delete them, I think that's a good step. Shouldn't stay up. No, if we're going to resolve this, that needs to go down. So
I think that's very big of you, and I would appreciate that.
Sounds like photos are part of your job. What about any future photos that you might take in your workplace, Pat?
I mean, if you never want me to take a photo of you again, if you feel that upset about it, if you don't want me to take photos near you, I can respect that. To ask me to never take a photo again, I think it's a little heavy of a request, but I can respect your personal boundaries, and I don't need to take photos of you or around you, unless maybe I get your consent, or if it's for something legitimate or something like that. What do you think?
I think I could be comfortable with it as long as he gets my consent.
Tell Pat.
As long as you get my consent. I know pictures are a big part of both of our jobs, and you do work really hard, and I don't want to take anything away from that. So if you could just get my consent for a while until maybe I can regain trust in you, that would make me feel at ease.
Sounds good. I think I can do that. I think I can manage.
Thank you.
When you came in, you brought some other concerns about other kind of workplace dynamics. Is there anything else, Pat, that you feel you need to talk about?
As long as we're putting everything out there on the table, I don't mean to attack you, but I've just been working a lot, and I just feel that some of the work I'm doing, it shouldn't all be on me. I get that I'm newer and I don't have the seniority that you have, and you've created all this stuff and these steps, and that you're really good at it, but I would maybe like a little bit of help on what I do. I work a lot. I do a lot. I show a lot. My name's on everything. I do a lot of work. And maybe if I could get some help from you sometimes, or if I could just discuss things with you or how I feel, maybe we can just make the workplace better, and it'll be that much better.
Morgan, before you respond, can you tell Pat what you heard him saying to you just now?
I heard you say that you're working really hard and you're really putting a lot into your job, and that you understand I've been here a long time and I've put some of these policies in place, but that you could really use some help from me, or even just someone to bounce ideas off of and give you feedback.
At least that, exactly. Just some of the stress is not all on me,
Right. I would be happy to help. Maybe we can set aside a time once a week where we could go over action items.
That would be great.
And I can take a couple off your plate, especially since it doesn't take me long to do them. I can agree to that.
That's all I ask. It would just make things a lot more easier if I can get at least a few assignments taken off,
Of
or at least
course.
worked on. It's
Sure.
just less on me. So.
Sure.
So you guys have had a number of ideas about what you can do. It sounds like that one of the first things is that, Pat, you're going to take those photos down. When can that happen?
Right after this session, I could do it on my phone. So.
Okay, so by 10 o'clock tonight then, say,
Yeah,
they'll be down?
Yeah, that's fine by me.
And
I'll have it done
comments?
right after, but.
Okay. And then, Morgan, you had invited Pat to come over. I think that's still on the table.
Oh, sure. Are you free Sunday afternoon?
I mean, I can definitely do it. Right now, I'm really busy. If maybe we can agree to plan a date upcoming, I just don't know of something immediately that I can agree to right now. But I can agree that I'll go to your house within, say, a month, maybe.
Well, I just really feel like we should do it sooner than later, especially since we work together. It could be any time in the next 2 weeks that you're free. You just text me.
You know what? Next Friday at night, are you open? I think, you know what? I can guarantee that I can probably make some room for you.
Okay, so next Friday, that sounds good. That works. I'll order pizza.
So what exactly is happening next Friday?
Next Friday, we're having dinner at her house in
With the kids.
Okay, and
We're
what
gonna
time?
talk.
What time will that be?
6:30, 7 o'clock.
Sure.
Okay, and if something came up on one end or the other, what would be the fallback, the backup plan?
We would just call each other. We would give each other a courtesy call.
Okay.
Maybe to reschedule.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then I also heard that there's interest in having a work meeting around workload. Can you talk a little bit about what those details would be?
Maybe when we get our assignments for the week, at that time, we can have a small, doesn't even have to be an hour, maybe 30 minutes, just kind of a breakdown, like I'll do this, you do this, we do this, and just kind of direct things, instead of it just, someone doing all this work and then someone doing the rest, or, just kind of divide it up, or at least have an action plan for the week for our assignments.
So maybe Monday morning at 10, since we get our assignments at 9, and I'll invite my assistant so that she can take notes.
Yeah, that sounds completely fine to me.
And that's going to be a weekly commitment that you're making?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we can do that. 30 minutes should be fine.
Okay, and what if somebody's gone that day?
We can do it by email.
Yeah, we can kind of run through the assignments by email. Would you be able to do it the next day, probably, or?
Yeah, or if I'm out, or if he's out, we have assistants. We do have posh positions. They know what our responsibilities are. Our assistants could fill in for us if one of us is out.
Okay,
Sounds
and
fair to
where will this meeting take place?
In the executive lounge.
Anything else that would help you both feel that you have gotten what you needed today?
If you want to get down in writing that you don't want me to take a photo of you without your agreement on it, I'm completely fine with that.
I don't like written agreements. I need to rebuild my trust in you. I'm fine with verbal.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you fine with verbal, Pat?
Yeah, I think it's up to me to show you that I've taken away something from this and that I'll change.
Awesome.
Okay, good. Are there any other concerns that we haven't looked at?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, great. Well, we'll write this up, and thank you both for coming. It's difficult sometimes, but looks like you got some good resolution.
Thank you both. Feels so much better.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.